Should we drink before the meeting or after? Or both?
How do you sell a product so bad it kills the people who buy it? Let's say you are a very handsome man called Don Draper and you have to come up with a new advertising campaign for your client, the Lucky Strike cigarette company. The only problem is that it's 1960 and Reader's Digest has just published an article that clearly shows cigarettes are linked to cancer.
The medical thing is dead. We understand that.
Yes, dead, an apt choice of words, considering the public is convinced that cigarettes are poisonous.
There goes your usual sales pitch, claiming that all cigarettes are actually good for you. So, what do you do? Even Don Draper struggles with this one. He spends the whole episode looking for ideas.
Can I ask you a question? When do you smoke Old Gold?
But since this is a TV show playing up the drama, the genius pitch comes to him at the very last moment as the client is ready to leave the meeting in anger.
Gentlemen, before you leave, can I just say something?
But first, let's go back to the beginning. Let's see what happens during the meeting between the ad agency and its client, the cigarette brand Lucky Strike. The two characters you see here are Lee Garner Sr., the owner of Lucky Strike, and his son, Lee Garner Jr. The scene opens with these two guys complaining about new government regulation on advertising that make it illegal to claim that cigarettes are good for your health.
I just don't know what we have to do to make these government interlopers happy. They tell us to make a safer cigarette, we do it, and then suddenly, that's not good enough.
Might as well be living in Russia.
Damn straight.
During this discussion, Lee Garner Sr. clearly expresses his belief that cigarettes are actually harmless.
Our product is fine. I smoke them myself.
My granddad smoked them. He died at 95 years old. He was hit by a truck.
He's wrong, of course, but his faith in the product is sincere. This is really important for what happens next. Because as Don Draper is about to present his idea for the ad, here's what happens.
Don, I think maybe that's your cue.
Well, I have been thinking quite a bit about this. And
He has nothing. He's stumped. So Pete Campbell swings to the rescue. Pete is a new recruit to the agency and dreams of stealing Don Draper's job. He sees a chance to outshine the master and takes it.
At Sterling Cooper, we've been pioneering the burgeoning field of research. And our analysis shows that the health risks associated with your product is not the end of the world. People get in their cars every day to go to work. And some of them die. Cars are dangerous. There's nothing you can do about it. You still have to get where you're going.
There is something good here, but there is a huge issue. Have you caught it yet?
Cigarettes are exactly the same. So why don't we simply say, so what if cigarettes are dangerous? You're a man. The world is dangerous. Smoke your cigarette. You still have to get where you're going.
That's very interesting.
Did you catch his mistake? I'll give you a hint. From a rational point of view, this is a great idea. It's original, it's based on a solid analogy to the automobile, it plays on man's pride and suggests giving up smoking because of fear of cancer would be an unmanly thing to do. But don't forget one important detail. Earlier in the conversation, Lee Garner made it clear that he believes cigarettes are good for you. Do you think you're ever going to convince a 70-year-old man that he's actually spent his life selling poison? It's completely impossible. As long as he's alive, he will never accept that cigarettes are bad for you, and he will turn on anyone who tries to convince him otherwise.
That's very interesting. I mean, if cigarettes were dangerous, it would be interesting.
If they aren't, is that your slogan? You're gonna die anyway, die with us?
This is Pete Campbell's big mistake. He digs a deeper and deeper hole for himself, trying to make a rational argument to convince someone whose belief is irrational.
Actually, it's a fairly well-established psychological principle that society has a death wish. And if we could just tap into that, the market potential is...
What the hell are you talking about? Are you insane? I'm not selling rifles here. I'm in the tobacco business. We're selling America.
The actual psychological principle at play here is not a death wish, it's confirmation bias. That is, the idea that people seek information that confirms their existing beliefs. That's why, for these characters, the fact that the grandfather smoked and lived to 95 is proof that cigarettes are good for you. They ignore the scientific studies because they go against the existing belief. Pete Campbell has made a gigantic persuasion error by attacking an established belief head-on. In contrast, here's how the more experienced Roger Sterling handles the same situation a little earlier.
Yeah, we're aware of that, Mr. Garner. But you have to realize that through manipulation of the mass media, the public is under the impression that your cigarettes are linked to certain fatal diseases.
By blaming the current situation on media manipulation, he can convince Lee Garner of the need of a new approach without questioning his beliefs. Also, notice that he distances himself from the problem by refusing to say the word cancer. After Pete Campbell's blunder, the clients are ready to leave the meeting. This would be disastrous for the agency as they would lose a big account.
Come on, Dad. Let's get out of here.
Then, a miracle happens. In dramatic fashion, Don Draper finally gets the brilliant ideas he's been waiting for since the beginning of the episode.
The Federal Trade Commission and Reader's Digest have done you a favor. They've let you know that any ad that brings up the concept of cigarettes and health together, well, it's just going to make people think of cancer.
Yes, and we're grateful to them.
Unlike Pete Campbell, the more experienced Don Draper doesn't play all his cards at once. He starts by getting back the client's attention. For this, he uses a technique called a pattern interrupt, meaning he says something completely unexpected. So Don makes the seemingly absurd claim that the Reader's Digest article is a good thing for Lucky Strike. The Garners, who were ready to leave, are stopped in their tracks. The first step in persuasion is to grab attention, and here Don Draper has hooked his fish.
What Lee Jr. said is right. If you can't make those health claims, neither can your competitors.
Pete Campbell began by telling his client, "You're wrong." Don Draper tells him, "You're right." People love to hear how they're right. Check out the body language in the next clip and how the client leans towards him with interest.
So, we got a lot of people not saying anything that sells cigarettes.
Not exactly.
Not exactly. That's brilliant. Don Draper never says the client is wrong. He gently steers him in the direction he wants, without ever contradicting his underlying belief and never going against the confirmation principle.
This is the greatest advertising opportunity since the invention of cereal.
Another pattern interrupt, another striking claim, which creates even more need for an explanation.
We have 6 identical companies making 6 identical products. We can say anything we want.
And here is where the stroke of genius comes in.
How do you make your cigarettes?
I don't know.
Shame on you. We breed insect-repellent tobacco seeds, plant them in the North Carolina sunshine, grow it, cut it, cure it, toast it.
There you go. There you go.
What just happened? Don Draper started by telling his client, "You're right." And now he's playing on Lee Garner's obvious pride in his product. Nobody can resist a question about themselves or their business. And the best part is, from that moment on, Lee Garner is personally involved. It's his idea, his words. It all comes down to an age-old principle of persuasion. If you want someone to approve your project, make them think it's their idea.
But everybody else's tobacco's toasted.
No, everybody else's tobacco is poisonous. Lucky Strikes is toasted.
So, how did he do it? I'll let Don Draper himself explain.
Advertising is based on one thing: happiness. And you know what happiness is? Happiness is the smell of a new car. It's freedom from fear. It's a billboard on the side of the road that screams with reassurance that whatever you're doing, it's okay. You are okay.
It's toasted. I get it.
Wow. Don Draper has to do 2 difficult things at the same time. Number 1, create an effective advertising campaign to sell a dangerous product. Number 2, sell this idea to a client who refuses to admit the health risks. Don Draper knows that the most important resource in a persuasive situation is attention. He has to start by getting his client's attention and arousing his curiosity before selling him the idea. Most importantly, he must find a way to divert the consumer's attention away from the health issue. It's a magic trick. You look here, well, things are happening over here. Or, as the man himself said,
If you don't like what is being said, change the conversation.
and we're done. If you liked this video, you'll love this one where I broke down why everyone in Succession is bad at business.